I seem to be missing a face. But no, I can agree with that. This is a really good decision because and Absolver made the same decision. Faces and customizable faces are so much effort put into a game where most of the time your character is going to be like this. What about what do we got? So we have general like body style. We've got different hairs. Rapscallion. Do we have Peeve? We got like an edgy Peeve. Let's go with depending on what character we make. You can put okay, this is great. You actually can put facial hair on these characters. On these like kind of reminds me of like Plank from Eden and Eddie. I think we'll go with a Jarvis aesthetic. What do you think? Maybe I should do a Tristan instead. Maybe I'll do Tristan. Tristan pretty much is very similar, except for he's got a ponytail. Let's go with that. And I'll feel so bad if I'm not using like a rapier or something, some later weapon. Spent hours building characters in game, then never play them again. I know that feel. I've done a pretty good job of not really following the game too much. I've been...
Among the stars, the Ashen fly. Beneath, the 9 realms move among the Tree of Worlds' many branches. Proudly standing upon the darkness, its roots delving into caverns where light will never venture. It was when a single great Ashen flew down to rest upon her boughs that the light woke among the realms. After eons, the great Ashen grew weak with age and fell from the Tree of Worlds, resting upon the plains of darkness, drawing what few breaths remained. In the throes of death, the light dimmed, and the Ashen's final 3 breaths became the 3 golden ages of light. The first age saw 3 creatures of the dark plains rise above all others. The Elder Dark fed upon the light and thrived. The second marked the coming of the Listener Matriarchs, titans who revered the light. The third breath was the age of man, Geffin's children. When the final breath ended, there would be a time of darkness. In that black age, the cities of man fell into ruin, toppled by war and emptied by pestilence and famine. Proud Lathyrus drowned beneath the ash. From dust to flesh, from darkness to radiance, Soon the Ashen will be reborn from the ruins of its old body, and a new age of light will begin. I served the Ashen long ago, a guardian to its waning light, even though it broke me with its brilliance. Now, look to the mountain peak, for that is where fresh hope blooms. The Ashen is reborn. Behold, the first glimmer of the light that will sweep the darkness from these plains.
So it doesn't tell me too much about what's going on with the story just yet. Oh, is this an NPC? Guess I've got a helper with me. What are my attacks? So I got like... I think this is just a torch. Well, can I light it? Can I just like... Probably shouldn't. That's... Well... So much for that. You killed the light. Game over. Oh, well. Oh, okay, so I gotta say one thing real quick. I love when they do... when there's a bit of smoothing on the camera. I know, like, a lot of players hate camera smoothing, but man, it makes the game so much more readable that you're not immediately snapping from one position to the next. When I worked on a MOBA, well, I worked on 2 MOBAs, and in both of them, I wanted us to have I wanted us to default to having camera smoothing, but a lot of players, well, I don't even know about a lot of players. A lot of the other devs that I worked with just did not like that concept at all of thinking about camera smoothing as an option that you could have. Second is that we didn't really get too much on the origin story just yet for the game. So basically, the strange thing is that it seems like there's multiple of these Ashen creatures, and at least one is a bird. It's interesting that they basically presented that when one of these creatures is at the end of the current phase of its life cycle, as they die and are reborn, they're either initiating or reviving a world or a realm or something. And it's a little bit different than what you would expect for, like, for example, like a lot of lore will do, like, you know, as, you know, at the end of a war, or at the end of, you know, the creator god's lifetime, they die or somehow or are killed or defeated or dismembered or whatever, and like their tears become the rivers and their body becomes the earth and all this other stuff. And this one isn't so direct as that. Instead, its dying breath is the light, or at least is its dying breath, I guess, is gives power to the darkness or something. I wonder how that's gonna turn out.
The cliffs ahead should provide a good vantage point. Beware, the rebirth of the Ashen will be violent.
What would be like a run button? Oh, I see. This has got flat out Dark Souls. Probably should pay attention. Can I light my torch? Nope, nope. Damn, I'm good at this. Okay.
Get away with you.
In a good way or a bad way, White?
Keep the light. Hide it. Keep it. Save it.
In a good way?
Soft rapid, warm rapid, foreign rapid fire.
So rabbits must be creatures in the world. Oh, cool. Okay, so you can, if you're sprinting and then you do a jump. So what is you sprint and roll? You get nothing. Okay. You're learning how to set up a Zendorum server for your stream. Research accept command line stuff, looking into pricing for Linode. I recognize some of those words.
If you stare at a campfire too long, you'll dull your senses. And the Ashen is brighter than 1,000 campfires.
So I shouldn't look at the Ashen, is what you're saying.
The cliffs ahead should probably...
Okay, I got it. And you underscored to ask some technical questions, and one of them is just like, yeah, I run a free Doom server hosting service. Interesting. I wonder what the catch is. I could understand maybe they just want to, if they just want to expand the community. This is redone. So wait a second, is this thing in like a chrysalis or something? Because that would make it a pretty gigantic Ashen. Broken bone Ashen. Okay, what do I do with this? Wait, what is switch panel? Can I just put it like here? No, I can't. I can just take it. Hold on. Oh, okay, so this is a club. I thought this was a torch. Wait, hold on. So this is 3946. 3036. Could I have like another arm? Not yet, or something. If it's two-handed, maybe. I don't know how to move it to this slot. Like, it seems like... You know, I don't know. No catch other than don't use things that release bugs that break server stuff? Huh. Well, that's good. Yeah, Baka, it looks like that. It looks like you have one of each type, and then they're... Oh, is this a dude? It is a dude. Hey, man! Took my first kill. That was gonna be, like, celebratory. Come on. Blank shield? Alright. I will gladly take that. Can I, like... So I can't take it to a slot directly. I have to equip it after the fact. Okay, what does this do? Oh. Huh. I wonder if that's just flat out a bash, or is that like a parry bash or something? Wonder if it says. Oh, nope. Doesn't seem to indicate either way. Am I? I'm doing alright. I should have sprinted. No, I'm gonna die, or I don't know. We're good, I guess. Could be like a great shield? That's what I think. It looks like it is. Apple cricket. Oh, so this is a green blossom, pretty much. What is this? Can I interact with it? Guess not. You know, it was probably worth following, honestly, just because there's some stuff here to take. Instantly heals a moderate amount. Got some healing items. But wait, I'm overall right. Been kind of busy. With work and stuff. Just work is. We got a lot of stuff to do. That's all I can say. You know, it's like there's a never-ending deluge of things to get sorted. Is there no Estus? I don't have an answer to that yet. Oh, one thing I was thinking about, and it took me a while to figure this out, and it seems Ashen handles this just a little bit differently as well. Yeah, Ashen has some thresholds for this. Oh, that's what's going on. I see. Ashen has different rules for when it moves the camera relative to your facing direction as you move. It actually resumes it when you sprint. But if you manually adjust the camera, it lets go. When I was playing Sinner, I realized that they really don't do that at all. They basically say that you're relying mostly on the targeting, the lock-on, for your camera movement. And Sinner doesn't really nudge or auto move the camera at all. But no, so far it seems. Oh, I thought it might be food. Sorry, don't call PETA. They're gonna kill the animals anyways. You like Monster Hunter, where the camera does not rotate relative to your character unless you manually adjust it? It's also minimal smoothing walking around. Yeah, Monster Hunter's camera was fine. And cameras, of course, are going to be just as much as you need to have a little bit of something everywhere. Exactly what you get is subjective. Oh, that's interesting. So I guess any random object you can climb up. I mean, I guess as long as it thinks you can. Because most attacks move you can feel the weight of each attack. Yeah. Monster Hunter is generally really, really good with how their attacks work and how the... especially, like, how the pacing and the weight feels. Many people view that as sluggish, though, so I can understand that. Like, there's sort of a pacing for animations. This game I really like so far what it's doing, where it's responsive, but there's still like the need to commit. Sinner was very, very good about it. Am I going to be streaming Sekiro day one? Yes. I think this is... Oh, here we go.
There are those that thrive in perpetual night and would extinguish these fledgling rays. We must find the Ashen and protect it from the Elder Dark.
That's such a cool effect. White, I really feel like you should get in on. You should be part of a Doom podcast, and you should be part of a Monster Hunter podcast. I think you'd be really good at it. You have a lot to say, and I think it would help you grow your stream. Honestly, I think I'll just lay here for a while. You know what? Stream's over. We're just gonna lay. We're gonna... Oh, that's not the right mouse. Where's the right mouse? Mirror mouse. It's over. Done. Why is that not loading properly? I broke it, it seems. Oh, there it is. See, I think there's something wrong with, maybe like an OBS update or something. Or maybe I'm out of date. Pretty confident I didn't ruin my, my style sheet or anything. Well, yeah, White, I definitely think you should find a, if you do happen to have, anybody you could choose... Is that the dude who's been following me the entire time? Equally, fine with chilling? I'm gonna take a look at that overlay real quick and see if it's also broken again. Yeah, it is. What is going on with this? I'm gonna have to look into that later then, I guess. I must have broke it. Alright. No, this is just my dude. Damn, look at that. Look, he's got a stash. I didn't even realize at the time. Wait a second. He's got a pipe. Wow. It's put me to shame. I look all like plain and milk toast, and look at this guy. He's all swank. Pretty confident he's an NPC. I think they have some sort of journey style, companion system where people just show up. But I don't quite know how that works just yet. Hey, Bloated. Then yeah, I could definitely understand not having the right person to help with the podcast. Like you need good synergy. You need a good person to talk with who has like the proper pacing and style.
Sight. Our world once more bathed in ashen light. You have felt the power of the ashen and survived. We will need that strength of yours. The ashen is still a sleeping child, vulnerable. We must wake it from its slumber.
So I didn't realize until just...
Before we begin our journey, we must bind your spirit to a ritual stone. If misadventure takes you, the stone will act as a beacon from beyond death's veil.
So I don't know if anybody else noticed, but this guy's missing an arm. Has he always been this way? Did he lose an arm in the blast or whatever? And maybe I just didn't notice. I've probably only been watching him from about this angle, so. I tend to be crazy, passionate, rambling sometimes. Sexual deviant, little tends to play the moderately perturbed straight man in most of the situations. Oh, they got a map. Wait, other side. You've probably noticed he is huge. So, along with games like, the obvious comparison would be, Absolver, I really like this sort of like stylized, sort of like watercolor-esque, aesthetic, and I'm glad there's additional games that are using it. Another game had used a similar basic aesthetic, which was Necropolis, and I really wish Necropolis did better than it did. It really highlighted that roguelite Souls is a great idea. The execution wasn't super great, but it was a good idea, and it continues to be a good idea. You don't know how your throat will feel about streaming 4 days a week and also regular podcasting. You'd be surprised. You'll probably need to get. You'll need to make sure to drink a lot of water. You'll need to make sure to minimize how many acidic beverages you drink. There are certain foods that are better for you in terms of like if you're preparing to do a lot of speech. Apples are a good one, believe it or not. I actually did a lot of research on this because I wanted to do a lot of like I wanted to do a lot of recorded scripted videos for YouTube, and that sort of fell through, and that might come back later. We'll see. I actually one thing I could use, and I'd be willing to pay for, would be I need somebody who could record high quality footage for me of various games to go with videos that I want to do, and I'd gladly pay for it. I don't quite have solidified plans for what I'd want to do yet, but that's on my to-do list. So if any of you are able to record very high quality footage, at least 1080 at 60 at a good bit rate, I could provide some of the games, many of them maybe. It would really come down to how many videos am I going to put out. Worst case, I could trying to think of any sort of safe family sharing I could do, but you have to log into the person's account with your own account, so probably not. We can work something out. Much of it will be games that I've played, and many of them are cheap, so I wouldn't mind providing many of those games. Equip it. I don't want the cricket. I want to put the healing item. Don't tell me what to do. Wait. Select. Oh, here we go. It's doing it. Okay. Still getting around setting up a bank account? Definitely do that, and get a PayPal sorted too. That'll make it easier for paying. Oh, hey, I'm busy trying to have a little bit of exposition here, or monologue maybe, depending on. What was I gonna say? I haven't played Neverith, or I've seen a small amount of it. Hey man, you need to stop being so accurate. Okay, you know what? I need to head to that stone, otherwise I'm screwed. Let's go to the stone first. I just realized I have like no bonfire. I don't know where I'm gonna respawn. I don't know what button I gotta press to. Oh, hey. Everybody wants to be dead. That's okay. That's not gonna. Oh, Uppy uses them. Perfect. Maybe. Right? What am I even doing with this? What is this? So that... Oh, I'm looking right in front of it. I'm looking at the top right for the prompt, and it's right in front of me. It's, Xbox X. Okay, so it's like Dark Souls. Okay. You played the alpha? Combat's fantastic. Needs more rooms for level gen. And the sound is bad. Oh, it's like early access or something? But yeah, White, if I have to start writing up the scripts for the games that I wanna put up videos for. But I totally could use this all the way around. I totally want to do videos for. Yeah, I guess this way. I have like lots of stuff to talk about, and as I have time to write the scripts, I'm going to go back to working on that. I have lots of little things to talk about. Lots of little thoughts crystallizing in my head. You know, funny thing is, after playing Sinner, I've been pressing Xbox A to dodge. I know that's not right at all. So what actually is Neverith? Because I've seen like GIFs on Twitter, I guess at best. I don't quite understand what it is at all. I don't know if it's a simple roguelike Souls like. Okay. I wonder how that's gonna play out relative to Necropolis. Hey, Ice. I don't think I've seen you around in a while. Have you been streaming? I've been so out of the loop lately with I have not caught many streams of anybody at all. In fact, I've been lamenting that when I get out of work, there's not that many people around. Picks and chooses mechanics from other games as well, Souls at its core. One item gives you this ghost that does what you do like half a second after you do it. Oh, that's cool. That's like that's somewhat like one of the Ninja Gaiden games. I'll go ahead and put that out. I won't worry about the club for now. Combat in this game feels good though. So I guess, yeah, here we go. Oh damn, look at this thing. This is good. This is like it's got that sort of like committal and weight to it, but it's not quite as committed as like some of the heaviest weapons in a regular Souls game. And honestly, to be fair, with the way that weapons needed to be balanced and how AR couldn't get too high, Dark Souls needed to have their heavy weapons act more like this. They needed their heaviest weapons to act like a Dark Souls 1 greatsword, maybe a tiny bit faster. What was the game that did that right? Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 did better. Dark Souls 2's ultra great weapons were not much different than the great weapons in terms of speed. Now, their damage formula was really bad. Their damage formula was missing out on two things that Dark Souls 1 and 3 had. You could specialize in either direction. You'd either get increasing benefits the further and sharper your defense was, as well as the further you pushed your attack. How are these guys getting around? Are they jumping? Oh, wait a second, my dude died. No, he's still here. I was about to say. I was like getting ready to roll out because I thought I lost my dude. Apparently my dude's doing pretty well though. He's got a much better grasp of this than I do. You got one that gave you a stamina cost reduction on the iframe attack for greatswords? Nice. Yeah, 2 had some really good ideas with how counter damage was set up. And in fact, giving big counter modifiers to ultra great weapons basically made it to where it was actually worth utilizing your poise, because you'd come out of that trade and be better off, assuming you weren't fighting a katana or whatever. That's a big dude. Oh! Wait! That was not the right button. It occurred to me that I could hold it and I'd get back up. That was not correct. I panicked. If you can predict a whiff, it's a big chunk of enemy health. Yeah. And the reason why counter windows were so big was because they had such... they honestly had overly large recovery windows for attacks. And Dark Souls 3 generally balanced it out really, really well, but the counter damage kind of needs to still be there. Like, whiff punishing, I think, is a good idea overall. And Dark Souls, I mean, as much as everybody wants to give Dark Souls 3 a lot of hate for how its attacks are very, like, footsies based, it played very well into how a lot of the game was structured. Oh yeah, because Leo Ring charged R2 thrusts are disgusting. Just chunk somebody for like 1,000 damage. Yeah, this game is really interesting so far in that I don't really feel so like, it's so insanely open. Like, remember how we were all looking at Absolver, and Absolver was effectively open world with a Souls type of giant area to navigate? But this is, like, Ashen actually is getting what I thought it would be, more accurate to my expectations, where I'm just, like, wondering, I don't even know where I'm going. I have a general idea from, like, a directional marker. And in fact, to be honest, I'm actually kind of really liking the top compass that's very amenable. I kind of actually really like this, and that's my dude. He's the marker that's not really well emphasized, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to let you know. That's actually really cool. I kind of like that. Compasses have been on my mind lately. And I'm saying that as somebody who does a lot of, user interface is my primary job for video games. So these little things always stick out to me. I like the feel of the running attack. It seems that when you sprint, you break lock, I think. I kind of like some of the organization that they have for their UI, where a lot of the stuff is laid across the top of the screen. The having it on the left is a little bit a little jarring to stack stuff on the left of the screen. It feels like I'm losing a lot of the real estate. I think for whatever reason I'm more comfortable with losing the top of the screen than I am losing the sides. Like, I just feel like I want to have that wider span of vision. Yeah, Tona, it's a really nice... The aesthetic is really nice, and it runs, obviously, like, it runs fantastic. I'm sure, for the most part, it's probably, there's no real expectation that it's very demanding, but I've seen games with the same aesthetic not run well, so whatever they're doing it very well, like, optimization-wise. They're picking and choosing their battles for what to render. Yeah, okay, so the moment you go to sprint, you do lose your lock. I feel bad about this dude who, I feel kind of bad about this dude who's just helping me and carrying me through this. Luckily, at least this one seems to be an NPC. You hate how many games use left side HUDs rather than center right? Your right eye dominant, so you lose things on the left side of the screen. I think it probably... It's not something that you can conveniently support in every game, and the sooner you support it on the way up, the better. But prioritizing elements in the left side of the screen is sort of a... that's usually a more... oh god, there's another one too. That's usually a safer choice than putting stuff on the right. Like primary information anyway, secondary stuff. Just because, at least for English-speaking countries or anything with a left to right character set or language. Small Scoria stash. Ancient Labyrinthian Riches. I will totally take Ancient Labyrinthian Riches. So I've been noticing that as I've been fighting and killing stuff, I have a 152 on the top left of the screen, and I'm assuming that's a resource of some sort, but I don't know if that happens to be like a Souls-esque currency, or if that's just like money. So, I've been told to go all the way over there for ages, and I've not been bothered. I've been drawn to just browse a bit. Wait, what was that on the left? There was like a bit of glowing on the side of the screen that I don't recognize. Skyrim HUD mods are a good template. Instead of having all your HUD in a set box, having them in a box that can be dragged around and resized. Wait, what was the damage in this? It's better. There's the comparison, okay. Yeah, every game's HUD has different needs, so I don't know how easily you're going to be able to say that you could support that. Just, like, across the board, guaranteed, like... Oh man, I wish he did. Put that away. Don't make me come over there. There. But yeah, MMOs tend to have way higher demands for having a customizable UI personalized to the players. So they're like MMOs are way more likely going to have a lot more effort put into allowing the user to customize their UI. I thought you were dead. No, you're not. I'm hoping there's way more of these healing items, because I'm gonna need them. I'm getting dunked. I wanted to see if I could pick up the spear, but it's not happening. And yeah, White, that's another reason, but a huge chunk of it, though, a huge chunk of it is simply that you need a UI customized to a huge amount of decision-making done with your character, giant ability sets, lots and lots of information to track. So, like, whenever you're developing a UI for an MMO... Well, that's kind of spooky. Should I risk it? Oh, I don't want to deal with that. Maybe I do. I don't know. I'm not going in, but I'm going to take this. Delicious apple cricket. The local supermarkets, where I am, the most popular one. You know what? The most popular supermarket in the area, I think, is starting to bring in like barbecue, this and that, dried bugs and stuff, like crickets and stuff, like insect snacks. And I can only imagine, considering that I'm in the South, like what's the average, the average Southerner gonna how are they gonna respond to that? Are they just gonna be like, y'all bringing in bugs to this place? You know what I mean? Like, what's their reaction? No, yeah, bugs are actually good for you if you can deal with that. They're like nutritious and high in protein and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I can't do it. It's not even texture for me. It's for me it's that they're bugs. I spent my entire life being put into the mentality that bugs are gross and they don't go in the mouth. Man, like, this is sort of like whenever I've thought of like wandering around in open world games, like you know, I don't know, like Skyrim or whatever, Oblivion, like this sort of like wandering around, not knowing where we're going, everything's just hostile. This is more, I think, my style for open world. And in fact, Zelda Breath of the Wild is kind of like this. I think that's why I liked it as much as I did. because you're just kind of like you're browsing, you're foraging, you're fighting stuff. Breath of the Wild, obviously, at least as of the moment, had way more like. Ooh, no. This guy's just going ham. I'm gonna crack this crab. As soon as he turns around, the fight's not me. Yeah, there you go. I just ran right into it. I got a good chunk on him, though. Huh, well, I don't know. He's not really going for it. Whoa, okay, alright. So the AoE attack I gotta watch out for. Oh, he's got some range too. Perfect. Did it all by myself. Something just did some big damage though. I don't know what. Do you see that? It took like a chunk of something. You found yourself falling off like halfway in. For some reason, you and a lot of people just couldn't stick with it until the end of the game. It definitely, Breath of the Wild definitely gets repetitive. It hits a point where it kind of stops. But I do feel like part of what made it work for me is honestly that I didn't fast travel, and there were a lot more like interesting, unique set pieces that I hit upon that kept it interesting for me. I think if you fast travel, you're missing out on a lot of that. ×2 max stamina. I figured this had to be an Ashen related thing, yeah. Hey, thanks for the follow, Pixel. Yeah, dude, the dungeons were for Breath of the Wild were very sparse. They had some cool mechanics, but man, there wasn't really much to them. Like, the mechanics were cool though. I will say that, and the especially Va Meadow, the bird. We have a long way to go, I think. Or, not really that much. There's no zoom in. Left trigger, zoom out. Oh, it's just toggle. Okay. You fell down the ravine to the left of the castle while gliding. You're way under leveled and it was great. Yeah. I definitely got myself into a lot of places that I needed to, like, struggle to leave. I totally wasn't ready for. But, I mean, part of the fun is when the game is just like, when you've gotten yourself into a situation where it's harsh and you've got to just work it out. Twilight Princess is and always will be your favorite. Classic formula breaks the mold just enough. Twilight Princess was good. I think the bug hunts were no good, but everything else is great. Seems like enemies are respawning like the moment I walk away. Oh no. Whole day. Huh. Spin to win. Alright, let's actually try to like focus and get something done tonight. Let's try to get somewhere. You glide toward the bridge, you look away for a second, you glide through a hole of the bridge. Breath of the Wild had a lot of like sort of secreted away little coves you can get lost in. If they add a bunch of additional content, I'll probably head back in. What's this game? This game is called Ashen. It is a seemingly open world Souls-like. And so far we've been wandering through the wilderness, kind of meandering potentially towards what I'm... I gotta be careful. Oh my god, I'm dying. Potentially towards a... I think we're getting resources for a... maybe for a blacksmith, I'm not really sure. We're finding Batarang's hammer and spark, but I don't actually know what that's going to end up being. Champion's Ballad. I think I have that and the other one. One of them I grabbed, which was like the Master Sword Trials, and man, that was I just couldn't get into it. I felt like the combat style in Breath of the Wild just didn't speak to me well enough to deal with starting with such difficult challenges with, base upgrades. Yeah, I will say it was overly difficult relative to what Souls normally has. I'm glad we're getting more of these. We need as much healing as we can get. 'Cause I am a scrub. There we go. Batarang Spark. I gotta go find the hammer now. Think another reason Breath of the Wild lost you was the combat wasn't nuanced or diverse enough? I don't... Like, I felt like it needed to be as simple as it was. I mean, there was some complexity to it, but I felt like it needed to have some level of simplicity to support the rest of the game being so systematized. I think it was the one where you put the Master Sword back, and you had to, like, earn improving it or something. Like, Breath of the Wild having so much of how combat and so much of how, like, enemy encounters work and how the world works, having all of that into systems for, like, magnetism, electricity, weather effects, gravity, enormous amounts of verticality, having fire spread, all this stuff. I feel like, considering how well the combat worked with a lot of that, I feel like it's important to not overcomplicate everything as it connects into itself. Like, that's part of how all of these systems manage to work, because it's a lot of smaller parts into a much greater whole. But on the other hand, when they focused on straight combat in the Master Sword Trials, I feel like that's when it fell apart, because it didn't have a lot of the rest of the aspects of the game working with it. And I feel like I could do some streams that are solely geared around the trials, and I think that might be interesting to watch as just like watch Jerp suffer and defeat this challenge kind of thing. I can't say that I would really enjoy it, though. If I was going to do a challenge type thing, it probably would be like... What is this? How are you? Can I like find one and chill? Huh. Yeah, I don't know how to rest like this. But for me, the types of challenges that I think would be good would be like 1cc and Zero Ranger, the Nightmare Challenge and Sinner Sacrifice for Redemption. Where Zero Ranger I got really close anyways. With Sinner, it seems like there is a huge gap between like your performance if you're just learning how to play the game and your performance if you really know each boss very well. And like I think there's a lot of room for me to learn how to play really, really well, and to have it to where like I'll cruise with the first few bosses and then have to learn each next boss, you know, in tandem. The only major incentive was large groups were difficult to fight. At the same time, overcoming a big group through pure combat was satisfying. In Breath of the Wild is what you're saying. My favorite fights were the Lionel fights. Big, crazy, one-on-one, ferocious battles. Those were it for me. Oh god. Where's my friend? Why did you abandon me? Oh, I just rolled right into it. Yeah, you're done. Why you gotta be like that? You can help me out. You just never felt incentivized to use any of the immersive sim mechanics? For me, it's like, there were like a lot of cool trap things. There was a lot more to it that I think was easy to use, and as easy to use as just like arrows and throwing bombs over and over again. Like, there were lots of cases where you could like roll boulders down and bowl over enemies. There were cases where you could like pot of glue. The game doesn't pause. Okay. Pot of glue. So this ornate steel fire starter is made in the ancient listener style. The etched runes tell of the Ashen's fall to the darkened plains. So much of what we knew is now buried in the ash. Despite the smell, glue made from fish is a valuable resource. Vagrants have long been able to render glue from the skin and bones of their catches. In my youth, I once stuck dried deer dung to a sleeping Einer using a big dab of her fat glue. You should have seen it run when his packmates caught the scent. I feel like the text size in this game is a little small. If I can increase the UI just a little bit. If there was like resolution scaling. Oh, you can like I don't want to do it, but you can do, I guess, like what am I trying to say? Everybody calls it something different too. You can render it at a high resolution to basically like to get a crisper image in like every way. All your anti-aliasing, all of your transparency effects just look clear when you do that. Hey, Jero. Wait a second, is that one of those fats emotes? Yes, it is. Okay. My dude had to abandon me. I had a dude who was following me, and he decided he just wanted to chill. I think he's done with me. That's probably meant to be the case. Probably venture far enough away and I bet he disappears or something. In Dishonored, I feel like you're incentivized to set up elaborate Rube Goldberg machines because you can think of an idea and have it set up in less than 30 seconds. Yeah, I will say that Breath of the Wild doesn't make it as easy and convenient as other games to set up a lot of these like traps and just like manipulate the world to be in your favor. So we at least have a shield bash. I don't know about hello there. I don't know if you hello. Oh, that's my dude. Back from the dead, I see. But yeah, Breath of the Wild doesn't give you the ability to set up, like, interesting kind of, like, traps and convenient places to fight. Not nearly as much as some other games would. What is this? See that glowing out in the distance? I don't think this is a hammer, but I also don't know what it is. There's this... I hear all this commotion out there. Except for bomb arrows, which were easily bought in huge quantities, yeah. But bomb arrows are just, I want rockets. I'm literally throwing rockets out. Oh, jeez. Oh, you were super dead. You're not even, like, partially dead. He just collapsed in a heap. No, you're alive still. What happened? Did he fake death? What happened? I thought he got just crazy dunked. Oh my god. Oh, this is where I died last time. And Scoria... Scoria must be your soul equivalent, then. Oh, there's the hammer. He's just been using it. Let's see. An Ashsmith's hammer, forged when the listeners held this world in the palms of their great hands. Bataran may well be the last master Ashsmith in existence. Okay, so, Scoria. Ah, yeah, it even shows the number here. So Scoria is, is your souls. And I don't quite know if that also means that you have another spendable currency, but I think they're one and the same. Interesting thing about setting up the compass, the way it's set up, is that I don't know, like, if it's high up or low down. I know a general direction to go in. Defines the ritual stone. That's all I got. Oh, hello.
Give me my hammer, so I might awaken this sleeping stone.
I don't think I want to upset this guy, even with only one arm. I think you can have it.
Touch the spark to the ritual stone. Bind your spirit to this place.
All right. Town founded. I've claimed Vagrant's Rest. You don't know why developers decided to do European martial arts for their Souls game. Their Absolver Eastern Fist combat be more unique. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean like the sort of like medieval sword and board combat rather than like on arms focused martial arts, or what are you saying? Also, I had to double take that this dude's name is Jokel. So the same dude here, I believe, is the dude who I'm working with over here.
Do you dream?
Yeah.
In my sleep, I hear my brother's voice. He once traveled this way with my father. I wasn't with them. Ahu was eldest, so it was his duty alone. Now he echoes through my slumber, calling to me. Each time is the same. He stands atop an old listener ruin, calling to me. I have found the ruin by the lakeside. Will you help me climb it? My father and brother never returned from their journey. I wandered for a long time looking for them.
I wonder if you can, like... oh, here we go. Yeah. My brother, Aho, calls to me in a dream where he stands atop an old listener rune. I found the rune by the lakeside, but need your help climbing it. Oh, wow. Okay, so... I'm not sure if these are... I guess every quest must increase their character level, and it must be like either how much you've assisted them in growing themselves, or just like a relationship or a reputation meter. Because Western martial arts has more sophisticated techniques than traditional Eastern ones. I think that's a hefty claim to make. And that update, I would say, is probably more accurate. I think some of the presentation is... there's a lot of, like, discipline and ritual injected into it, and not as much as a focus for raw practicality from what I've seen thus far. And I'm definitely not an expert on any martial art in any way of fighting.
I have searched these foothills and found no sign of the Ashen. We must consult Geffen of the Birthing Waters. She will know where to look. Geffen can be found bathing within the Annex of Light. Bridge the waters and strike out for the cliffs. There lies your way in.
Let's help out.
I know I won't find Aho alive, but I need to know what happened to him. The answer lies atop that lakeside ruin.
Let's help out Jokel first. I don't know about that, White. What about, like, judo and stuff? And aren't there whole schools of martial arts that revolve, like Eastern martial arts, that revolve around redirecting an opponent's momentum? But in terms of, like, which combat style, what presentation, what animations, and what weapons they use, whether it's Eastern or Western styles, I don't particularly have a preference, honestly, so long as it fits the theme. I mean, with Absolver, all of their presentation tends to yield towards, Eastern martial arts style overall. So I can certainly understand that that's the majority of their focus. But, I mean, for, adventure games, that tend to have weapons and armor and stuff that do well to have shields, you know, where that fits very well into their philosophy for how the combat should work. I think Western style works. If you want to integrate Eastern weapons and mechanics, that also works with this type of game as well. I mean, Neo is a great example of that. I think Neo, for me, was grossly overcomplicated, but some people are looking to take that as far as they can. Just as much as, like, character action games, let alone just action RPGs, dungeon crawlers, Souls-likes, whatever. Character action games can go, you know, the simpler style, where it's more about the feel and the flow and the bigger motions, like God of War or Castlevania Lords of Shadow. You can go into being a lot faster and more complex, start trending in towards like Bayonetta. Or you can basically you can go to the furthest extreme and say it's all about style, and you end up with something like Devil May Cry. And for the longest time, I couldn't enjoy Devil May Cry, and I couldn't really figure out why. It didn't really work for me. And it's not me saying that it's bad in any way. And I wouldn't want to present it in that light, because I knew there was something in it that I didn't understand with why I couldn't get into Devil May Cry combat. At least for 1 to 3, and especially 4, which is the one I spent the most time playing. With Devil May Cry, I was watching one of P's streams. I don't even remember which game it was, which of the series it was. Ah, cool, we both get it. Okay, that's awesome. But I kind of, after discussing it in Peace Chat, I sort of figured out what it was about it and why it didn't really work for me. And it's because Devil May Cry is basically a skate park in the form of a character action game. It is literally about focusing on this impractical showiness that doesn't really necessarily get you anything from the outset. Like, it doesn't necessarily make you do significantly higher DPS, and in fact, it has really, really poor returns for the overall proficiency of your character per effort involved. Like, you don't get as much, you don't get a lot of extra damage, you don't minimize as much damage. It's super difficult and very risky to do. Now, the scores eventually contribute to getting more and more resources overall. And so that works out in its favor, that, like, you will get, I don't even remember what the name of the resource was, but you get stuff you can use to invest in, like, items and character upgrades and unlocks or whatever. But it really is a skate park. It's like, a lot of it is just you're doing showy stuff to make it look cool, and that's the main focus. More so than, like, you pull off crazy techniques and it makes your character better or stronger, or you one-shot a boss or whatever. And that's kind of why it didn't appeal to me. And I think it's in the same vein as, like, parkour versus free running, where parkour, I'm trying to remember which is which. I'm pretty sure parkour was the flashy one and free running is the maybe I'm getting this backwards. But one of them was focused on making it as impressive as possible, and the other one was making it as efficient as possible. And I think when it comes to combat systems in games and what yields you get from skillful play, I would typically be alongside the cooler stuff is also efficient, rather than the cooler stuff is just flashy.
You have returned.
Thanks for the resub, Curtis. This game is so good. So far, so good. I'm liking it. I'm liking the presentation. How do I get up there? How do I get down there? Next time on. Be there in a minute. But no, I'm liking it. It's calming to play. The aesthetic is this another, like, town? The aesthetic is really nice. The difficulty so far is nice and smooth.
The darkness has taken so many. Please, may I have Ahu's lockbox?
I want to read the description. Hold on a minute.
Is it out of cruelty or kindness that you keep my brother's lockbox from me?
No, I just want curiosity. Give me a sec. Jeez, you're killing me. This small, sturdy chest has been in Jokel's family for generations, and has held many a carefully secured secret in that time. As a child, you think you know your family. As an adult, you realize just how wrong you were.
The darkness has taken so many. Please, may I have Ahu's lockbox? So, this is all that remains of my brother's life. A crimson gourd and a crumbling map. The map may lead me to my father. The crimson gourd, I give to you.
I don't know what it is.
Touch the spark to the ritual stone, and the crimson sap will flow.
Ooh.
The crimson sap is the very lifeblood of the earth, healing and invigorating.
Jokel is
If
Oscar.
you find me the right materials, I can fortify your gourd at my work table. A fortified gourd can hold more sap.
If you know what I mean. You know. This is their first game, really? And also, yeah, this is totally Estes. Let me go. Oh, it's right here. Okay, it's already here. Perfect. Swigs. We have a swig number. The crimson sap contained within this gourd has unique restorative properties. Now that the Ashen is reborn, the sap flows once more through ritual stones and other sacred vessels around the world. When you sip from the sap, you drink from the very lifeblood of the Ashen. Creamy.
Can't say I've ever seen kindness from a listener before. That Bateron's a flower in the ash.
Ah. I think... Ooh, that's expensive for a homeward bone. I think we're gonna skip out. But appreciate the thought. I gotta say this though regarding the presentation and everything. It's like thus far, like it's solid. Everything just like the combat feels good, the movement feels good, the interface is genuinely readable. I think the text size is a little too small. I'd love to scale it up a little bit. Do I think Ashen's inventory management is better than a Dark Souls one? I think aesthetically I probably prefer it more. It's a little bit easier on the eyes, and it works more with their scheme, like their art style and everything. I don't know if Souls... It also, I think, kind of depends on what you're talking about. I think Dark Souls 2 overall was probably the best in how the inventory works. So, it kind of comes down to, like, which game are you talking about? Dark Souls 1 being pretty rough. Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne added some things that were really nice, the little quick inventory thing. So, it definitely, like, depends on what you're referring to. I think part of Soul's personality is how they present their interface, so I think aesthetically it kind of needs to be that way, but I think quality of life, they're better games. Ashen, I don't think adds enough to where I really know how we feel about it yet. And a lot of, like, what you even have available to you, where you have like a spear slot, a one-handed and a two-handed weapon slot, and then like a belt slot and a shield slot. Like, the needs of their inventory are different, so it's hard to make a direct comparison. You know, like Dark Souls seems like it has like way more potential choices for your inventory and way more items you can use, as far as I can tell from my like first hour or so of Ashen. Like, I don't know how easily I can make a comparison, because I don't think there is a direct comparison. Oh, so okay, so this is where Jokel will do the upgrades, but not yet.
Bataran is getting weaker. How long will it be before he loses his other arm? He used to live with a woman named Vorsa. She went off to search for a cure. I saw a woman who matched Vorsa's description near Placid Stream. Maybe for Bataran's sake, we should try to track her down.
I will say though that it's not a bad thing if they've chosen to take a more simplistic approach. Like, there is a certain level of complexity where a game will fall apart, so just because there's, like, for example, less items, or less slots for things, and more distinct slots for what you'll use and whatnot, like, that's kind of okay. I don't know what that was, though. I don't know what this is. Scoria is useful in crafting and decoration. Once mined as a currency by the merchants of Lathyrus? Many vagrant traders still collect them and use them as a means of exchange. Scoria is the wealth and woe of this world. It's cool that you can navigate over to it to see your... to examine it and see your number right there. But yeah, it's a tough call this early on, especially for like what, you know, how to make the comparison between the Ashen and Souls. Is there leg and head armor? I don't believe so. It's a neat effect.
Geffen gave birth to humanity in the third golden age. We are but wide-eyed children, begging for the wisdom of an ancient mother.
Inventory management's a tough thing in games, though. The more and more things you have to deal with, the harder and harder it gets to make it good. And the more you have to if you want to have it really easy to use and satisfying, you've got to really put effort into making it, like, you have to add as many options as you can, as many good options in the right places, and as few in the wrong places, and in the, as few confusing options as possible to make, whether it's navigating through like a favorites or a tagged item system, going back and forth between weapons, immediate use like resources, healing, stuff that you use in a pinch for combat, stuff that you'll use sparingly but want to have access to, and then like the stuff that won't really come up very much at all. Inventory's tough. Seems like you can't. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with like, how do you switch your targets against multiple enemies? It doesn't seem to be just moving the mouse or the analog stick. Where have you been? I think he's decided to let me do some work for once, rather than just like run in and dunk everything before I even get there. Who might you be?
Greetings. I am Vorsa. Have you seen how the deer move towards the light? They are drawn to the flame that now fills our sky. But that same flame fills me with dread. I've seen you with Bataran. He has a knack for taking in strays. I was like that once. As feral as a vagrant I was, until Bateran took me under his wing. He had 2 arms back then. The sickness will take the other if I don't stop it. Vorsa's the name. And yes, I'm out here hunting for a cure. You see, Bateran's not the only one who is sick. I have a few symptoms. So do most folk. Animals, too. The shorter the lifespan, the faster the illness shows up. Not every animal gets sick, though. That's why I hunt them. To find out why. You want to help? Hunt Einar with me. They're the wild hounds. 3 should be enough.
So one thing that joined my team, town. Okay, I was about to say, like, I turned away for a second, and I was like reading the remark about the hunter symbol. I was like, wait, what? One thing that Souls does with this interface, and some other games do differently here and there with their subtitles, is that the Souls games are very deliberate about darkening the bottom of the screen to make text more readable. And I feel like it's not pronounced enough for this game. There's a few cases where subtitles have appeared on the screen, and it's very difficult to see because you have like bright white text and not really much in the way of shadowing or borders or strokes or whatever.
The Einar roam the Eye of the Needle, hunting raffets and stray vagrants. 3 heads should do.
Okay, but you can see that they darken
The
it.
Einar are more ferocious.
They
as the
darken it,
light returned.
and then it fades out most of the way where I actually want to read.
Eyes and ears should be enough to tell me what I need.
Where Souls keeps some of the darkness a little bit further up. I don't think it's the hunter symbol though. Where were you pointing that out? When she joined the town? Oh, hold on. I was holding. So you just hit down on the D-pad to do this. I was hoping that there was like a way to reset to item number 1. Actually, hold on a sec. That's the count. So there is no numbering. Well, the first item in the list. Oh, so there's something I noticed with let me see. Yeah, okay. So it seems that at least for this axe and maybe some other weapons as well, there's in Dark Souls 1 for axes, people were calling it shortages. But there's basically a whiff penalty. You swing slower if you don't connect. So it basically makes whiffs easier to punish, and I think more Souls-likes need to do that, especially for PvP. Most weapons in the Souls games don't have that, but I think it would make a lot of sense to include that. It would make spacing a lot more important, and the thing that would be cool is that it would make it to where spacing is important to force the whiff punish, to make it possible, rather than just like they could hit you or not, it doesn't matter because they're still going to have to recover from that swing. With Dark Souls 3 though, the funny thing about Dark Souls 3 is that the way that they actually had really good spacing in a couple cases, in cases that you didn't expect, and one of them was any like hand axe tier or I guess battle axe tier, which is technically I think a tier above. Anything of the same tier as what else cool? Of a Dragon Slayer axe spearhead. It is better to reuse the heads from broken spears than struggle with harvesting and forging new materials. One good spear will feed you for a year. My mother taught me that. If you, for example, with like a battle axe or a Dragon Slayer axe, fought somebody who's using a straight sword, the swing animations and pacing and movement for the axe was way better for outspacing the straight sword user, and not a lot of people figured that one out. And the reason why is because with a straight sword, you take a shorter step forward, and you take it sooner. With a like a battle axe or a Dragon Slayer axe, you take a longer step forward. Now this is for the first swing. You take a longer step forward a little bit later. And what that ended up meaning was that even though you had a similar recovery, like overall from pressing, like, you know, from hitting R1 to recovery to be able to move again, from the actual point where you were swinging, like where you had your impact frames at the attack, as well as from when you stepped forward, there was less recovery. You don't lose it. Well, you don't have to trade though. You're for like if you're both roughly outside of your like your range, and you rely on the step forward, the axe is going to win. Like if you swing at a similar time, that was a repeatable thing. That was something you do all the time against straight sword users. That was part of why it was so good to use those, and why they were so incredibly undervalued. Now, if you were fighting a group of people, you still would rely on the wider swings of a straight sword or whatever, but especially if you're fighting a single player, like using an axe well paid off in spades. You had to learn it really well, though. Like it was unusual, and it's not like the rest of the weapons in the Souls games. Like it's not like a great sword. It's not like a straight sword. It's not like a dagger. It's not like a spear. Not even situational. It's like you can enforce that spacing advantage consistently if you're fighting a straight sword user. And in fact, because of the swing animations and how you held ultra great weapons and great swords, you could just as easily outspace people who are using those weapons too. Not going to beat any decent straight sword player with an axe. Okay. Sure. We're going to have that battle of theories now. $4,000 hours. Ooh, I played more. Let's not do that, because that's stupid. Like, first off, it's everybody learns at different paces and everybody has different overall capabilities, but like there's such a huge disparity in player skill per time spent. It's bringing that up and assuming that actually has any real meaning is just ridiculous. Like it goes to the point. It basically makes it to where I can't put any value in that opinion if that's important as like worth using as fodder for a discussion or an argument. Like I can't even assign value to that anymore. $100K hours in Dark Souls 1 PvP. Yeah. I spent more hours playing this game than it's been out. I would say this, though. Based on all of my experience playing Souls games, the thousands of hours that I put into them, I would much rather have gone in and stayed and remained and exited from a casual perspective. I would have liked the game so much better than digging into it. Well, Curtis, the reason why is because it's first order optimal. It's a foo strat weapon. I mean, of course, it gives you the highest returns at the beginning of the game against most players. I mean, this is why I'm not really up for having that level of discussion, because like there's ridiculous points that don't apply are going to be made, and I just don't want to have to sit there and like have to work on dispelling that against somebody whose opinion isn't really going to be changed anyways. Which is also why I specifically mentioned just a moment ago that I'd rather have gone into and stayed into the whole of Souls casually. I think I would have liked it a lot more. I actually mentioned this a lot, where all of the Souls games, the more you spend, become a whirlwind of ruin. The more time you spend digging into the Souls games, the more they fall apart. Can you climb too? Yes, you can. That's cool. Well, I guess the AI partner, in this case, Jokel, if they had to add it for his sake, then they probably have to add it for everybody's. Curtis, that's absolutely the case. Because it's really two things. I think the further you tear apart the PvP, the more time you spend analyzing the PvP in Dark Souls, the more it doesn't really hold up. The other part of it is that if you're getting into PvP for Dark Souls, it means you have to slog through a lot of PvE. And the PvE, like, it doesn't have as long-lasting appeal, especially if you're trying to ignore it and get straight to the PvP anyways. But, like, I more than had my fill of Dark Souls 1 PvP after the first, like, 80 hours at most. Maybe 100 and change. Dark Souls 2 I like more, but obviously I have bad taste because Dark Souls 2 is supposed to be the worst game in the world that killed everybody's families. But, like, if you don't like whichever of those games you're trying to get into PvP for, if you don't like the PvE for that...
Gave birth to humanity in the third golden age.
I got it. I'm trying to get up there. Ooh, what is this? Kite shield, nice, I'll take this. This game newly released? That's kind of a back and like it's kind of half and half. It's like it's not out on Steam, but it's been out for a while on the Epic launcher. So it's half new, I guess. It was recently released. Or you could say something like if I haven't seen it, it's due to me, or whoa, whoa. Whoa, you got some damage, friend, or you got some health. God, I really want to test that shield. In the Fortnite store, yes. Oof, easy now. Whoa, he doesn't damage, holy crap. Let me try one of those, some of this tasty gourd juice. That's what he's been using, okay. Same effect. But yeah, I definitely don't have an interest in Like, if I can get it on Steam, I'll probably still get it on Steam. Just because there's, like, simple things that are going to come up. And one of them is simply that it's way easier to get your controller working on Steam. And big picture mode is great. I actually like that a lot. There's going to be features like that that the Epic Launcher doesn't have, and I'm hoping that they realize how important it is to get up to speed and no longer a source of noble entertainment. Does it do any damage? Not as much as the Iron Club, not yet. Honestly, when you put out a product that's meant to compete with something as strong as, say, Steam in terms of just the following, or the user base, or whatever, if you want to tear people away from something, a platform they're so comfortable with, you have to come out swinging. Like, I can understand at least they came out with a very strong hand in terms of, like, yes, we're going to give you a significant amount, a much higher amount of the income for games that you sell. Like, if you're... What was the prompt here? I got a prompt. You know, if you're selling a game, you'll make a much higher percentage of your sales on the Epic launcher than you will with Steam. Yes, that's the case. But you have like a smaller initial user base. You've got a smaller amount of features. Like, you need to catch up. People don't want to switch. Like, one of the things that you'll find when you're trying to get people to switch to a different game in a genre is that, let's say, for example, you want to get somebody to play a different MMO. You're making a new MMO, you want to tear everybody away from all of their EverQuest and their World of Warcraft and everything. Like, you absolutely need to come swinging out of the gate. You know, for a good example was, if you wanted to get everyone to stop playing Battlegrounds, you've got to release your Fortnite. You've got to release a game that is so attractive to the player base, to your target audience. And then you have Apex, which, you know, if you want to tear people away from Fortnite, what do? You have to come out of the gate swinging. You have to give people a lot of appealing features. You have to have your presentation like really, really solid. You've got to do it right, because, you know, everyone's going to ignore you if you're not so appealing that people are willing to rip themselves away from their comfort zone to switch to something new.
Get away with you.
I don't want to buy any of this. Hey, Clue. Jeez, man, there's like a million of these stats things. PvP pretty. Did Peeve just make a whole set of this horrible monstrosity? The rad one, I gotta admit, is pretty cool, though.
Ash suckers, nothing but trouble.
Wait.
Round, round, round the fires, round, round, round. 1 and 2 stand with the liars.
Huh. Rad was your idea? Rad's probably my favorite. The other ones, I don't know. The other ones are pretty scary. Gotta go find some of these, I don't know how to get up here, but there are boars to hunt. Oh, okay. It's in a field over here. I thought I had to, like, get up into a plateau or something. Yeah. Should probably go ahead and activate this. Wow, there's a lot of these.
Rabbits know. Devon has the ears, you see. Not safe, not safe, never safe.
Seems they mostly have the same
Them
thing.
shadows, they's always watching. Keep your mitts off me, Rock.
Okay, I will. I'll be going now. Sure, it's a very special rock. Oh, I see this icon in the distance. I want to pick up whatever this is. Even though I'll probably get ambushed. I thought I heard one to my right. Damn. She's a beast. More spears? Okay, we're not ready for spears yet. We don't have any, but eventually. I think we can probably craft them. I'm guessing they're like reusable or consumable or something. Like a... Maybe you throw them and then pick up the head if, like... It could be such that you throw them and there's a chance you can recover them. Maybe. Nope. Still haven't figured out there's like a parry mechanic yet. I may have missed a tutorial message, but so far I've not seen one. I mean, it might be better if there isn't. Wow, look at that launch. Holy crap. Keeping the wrong button. Can't remember what console I'm playing on. Like a million of these Scoria stashes. One thing that's really nice that I would say is an improvement over the Souls games is they tell you how many you get. That's always been a like, alright, I've got a small soul of a lost soldier. How much is it? I don't know. I've got a medium rare soul of a whatever. Oh, jeez. Whatever that was. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, neat. Also scary. Spearhead. Oh, dude, we could start up a new village over there, I think. I don't think I want to go there yet, though. It looks kind of scary. Plus, there's boars to hunt. Or, ears. Can I set, like, waypoints or something? I cannot. Alright. Wait. Did they say, So this other section of the map is Cinder's View. I'll have to remember that when I'm ready. Oh, damn it. Damn. You got me there. So, I guess in terms of a game that doesn't pause, I guess I could say that I probably would want a less risky animation for picking up items. And I guess to some degree, it sort of presents that sort of risk reward. Like you get this cool thing, but you have to stick your neck out to get it, and that's probably all right. Hey, Ryu. Got like hyenas. Ooh. Whoever that is trying to lure me out, I guess. Or... Yeah, they're trying to lure me into an ambush. First one that's actually been using a shield. Or at least successfully blocking anyway. Okay, so you can actually right analog stick does indeed change the camera, the target. I am wishing I can increase the text size a bit. It's a little bit small for me. Oh, jeez. I'm not yet seeing any... Whoa, okay. Gotta go in a one-shot and just make me look bad. I'm not seeing any boars yet. I'm seeing, these, like, wolf things. I thought that they were boars. Maybe I got it wrong. That would be two of whatever they are. Maybe they're just these. Okay, so those are Einars. Okay. I somehow I got it into my head. Maybe I just misread or just sort of just came up with it, thinking that I was hunting something that was like more like a boar. Oh, jeez. I wonder if you get like hyper armor or anything with these the two-handed weapons. I wonder what the major distinction is. Right now, it just seems to be like the width of the swing and where are you? There we go. That's what to say. The width of the swing and oh jeez. There. And the damage you deal.
Keep the light. Hide it. Keep it. Save it.
There's got to be some additional properties to it. In Center, the two-handed weapon that you get, the big Flameberg looking thing you get, that at least doesn't seem to do a lot more damage, but it's longer range, wider swings, and tends to not only like guard crush more, but it will stagger more, and that's extremely important versus a couple bosses like Greed. That's a little seamy. How do I get up here? What is... Oh, okay. Leave it to me to not know how to read a map or a compass. That's gotta be like a superpower. We gotta make that canon in some way. We gotta codify that. Like, it's not just a disability, it makes things more interesting. See, I get lost and I find the cool stuff. See, we need a way to make this about not judging me. Kind of curious if there's a punching attack or something I can do. Oh, there is. once we get back to Vagrant's Rest, I'm probably going to go ahead and call it, because it's getting kind of late, and I got to be up. I got to be up earlier for it's another big giant meeting at work. We've been having a lot of hello. We've been having a lot of meetings at work. That's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you got a lot to talk about. Yeah, this is not where I need to be. I gotta go a little further out. But regarding the parry thing, I am kind of thinking that it's probably better to not have parries and backstabs, just because it's very easy to trivialize all of the effort you make into all the effort you put into making the combat great. If you could just sit there and just like one shot or lock down enemies. I honestly think the Souls games would probably be best. They probably would be better getting rid of backstabs and parries. They might have put a little more effort into developing some additional nuance into their games, but I think it would still be better overall. Ooh. I'll look at their ragdolls. I mean, I think they have a place. I think like backstabs and parries can add like flavor to the game, but I also think it basically says like the better you get at those types of systems, the more you're able to basically ignore the nuance of the combat. Like you're able to ignore the entire rest of the combat because you're able to basically shut down any attack with one move. It becomes about refining the timing and position of that move, and not using any other portion of the combat. So, in games where parries aren't so universally applicable in combat, I would say yes, parries can be fine. In games that parries and backstabs can be used everywhere, or are the only option in a particular scenario, like when fighting a player, like you can rely on them, you know, you can make it your sole move in combat, and if you do, I think that's when it's time to reevaluate what your combat's all about. You know, I might have to spend some money to get back. Yeah. Make a Souls like where backstabs are your only option for 2 damage. Well, I mean, technically, Sekiro is kind of like you put all this effort into enabling the critical strikes to get your opponent off guard. And honestly, I kind of think if you want to make a game, here we go. We're actually, this is not the right way to go, I don't think. If you want to make a game where like big flashy finishers and high damage moves are like one of your main ways of going about things, that's a way to do it. I think Sekiro is going to be really cool in that respect too, because one of the ideas I've had with how games could handle health is sort of where Bloodborne was trying to go and didn't really kind of get there. They kind of half and halved it, and I think Bloodborne was kind of the prototype for that concept that Sekiro has, where Miyazaki was basically saying, I guess we'll follow the road. Miyazaki was basically saying that he wanted health to be more like a representation of will to live, and as long as you were willing to continue to commit and not give up, you still had a chance. And that was kind of where they were using the regain system to basically say, if you're willing to fight, they'll let you keep going, and you can come back. It didn't quite work out that way because their numbers weren't really well tuned, but I think that was generally the kind of idea. With Sekiro, as far as I understand with the way that their combat works, you're trying to catch the opponent off guard, and it's basically it's guard crush critical is the game, so to speak. And so you really don't do any damage until you break your opponent off guard. And I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know how well it's going to work out, but I think it's kind of neat. I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but we're going to Skyrim this. Or maybe not. And you know what? I can jump the other way. I can jump across. Let's do this. Yeah, we did it. I'm sure there's like a way more simple path, just like the ladders over here, I guess. I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm supposed to go this way. Like, I'm so easily lost. Here we go. I'm hoping Sekiro deviates enough from like super generic feudal Japan. Like, I hope it doesn't feel so Neo. Like, where I hope it doesn't feel so like by the numbers Japan. If that makes if that makes sense, and B, that doesn't sound super racist or whatever. Like, you know how like it seems like there's like checking the boxes of like here's the instruments used in the music, here's the color scheme, here's the enemy designs and references to certain like folklore and stories and legends and lore and everything. Time periods, weapon choices, creatures, characters, like names reused ad infinitum. Like I'd prefer to, just as much as I like how Christian mythology tends to get taken and twisted into something new and interesting. Oh, that's what happens when you do nothing. Okay, I was wondering how you actually sit. There you go. But you know how, like, for example, medieval Gothic presentation is taken by the Souls games, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, whatever, and made into something interesting and unique. I want the same done with, Japanese folklore and historical stuff. I want another good example would be out of the few modern war-y or historical, like World War I, Civil War, any of that type of presentation, any of those types of games, of the few games that have ever drawn upon any of those sources of inspiration, Battlefield 1, I think it was Battlefield 1, the one that was like, I think it was like World War I alternate reality, that was one of the ones that I was interested in, because they were basically saying like there was different like an alternate history, That's the sort of stuff I'm interested in. Like, use it like steampunk. You know what I mean? Hey, Zathradix. Unfortunately, I'm going to be calling it in just a couple minutes. I just wanted to finish a thought or two. It's getting late, and I have to be up early tomorrow for work. As much as I hate to have to admit that, but I would like Japanese folklore and mythology. And I'd like those myths and legends, historical references, time periods, to be used with the same type of brush as steampunk is, where steampunk is this kind of conglomeration of different ideas that somewhat draw upon, like, Victorian era, this and that, but they do so much with it in so many different interesting ways that it's kind of become its own thing. And I kind of want the same from... I don't want to just, take feudal Japan, use all the same names, all the same lore, all the same characters, and just use it the same visuals, the same instruments in the music, the same sound effects even. I don't want to just keep reusing that over and over again because I kind of get bored of it. You know, a good example of if you are going to draw upon if you're going to reuse a lot of the lore or have the same foundation in a very strict way, go Okami. You know, do something like that. You know, have a more artistically diverse or deviated perspective or presentation, rather than just like wrote by the numbers, color within the lines kind of thing. Hey, cat. But I will admit, though, the wrote by the numbers, consistent presentation, keeping everything by the book, hasn't gotten old for a lot of people who love the hell out of games like Neo. So who am I to say? I can only just say I've been playing games for over 30 years. Wow, that's weird to say. It's accurate. Holy crap. I've been playing games for over 30... Wait. Yeah. Okay, I've been playing games for over 30 years, and I keep hesitating because I have to make sure that sounds right, but I guess that's right. So I've seen enough that I kind of can get bored really easily. No, wait, I want to...
Through studying Bateran, I have learned to spot the light's telltale marks. A blemish here, a twitch of the eye there. Early signs not to be ignored. Now hand me those Einar heads so I can take a good look at them. Their eyes and ears will tell me much. Brains too, once I crack open these skulls.
Gross.
See these raised blemishes on the ears and nose? Signs of sickness for sure. These Einar seem no more resistant than you or I. We must look elsewhere. A good hunter needs a good spear, and my spears are better than most. Come see my workbench. There might be a spear with your name on it.
Cat, so far so good. We've been spending a lot of the time talking about lots of souls, lots of talking about Sekiro. It's been really good conversation for fodder, but the game is also really good fodder for conversation. But it's good. It's calming to play. The combat's good. It's not too extremely challenging. There's this big open world to explore in. I feel a lot less like there's things to do, but I don't look the spaciousness of the areas that I'm in. I don't feel so corralled into like, okay, I'm going from like the next bonfire to the fog gate. It doesn't feel. It's refreshingly open in that I feel like I can just kind of wander around a bit. The runs well, combat feels great. It's still pretty early in the playthrough. I think we have a good long ways to go. We've seen at least one additional major area that looks pretty cool, looks pretty scary. So I decided I'd go ahead and browse around a little bit. Part of the reason why I've been looking at doing some of these side quests is honestly because I have a bit of guilt after playing Yakuza 0, and holy crap, there are so many incredibly good storylines in that game, and there are so many side quests that are worth doing for like three major reasons. One is that whatever gameplay aspect you do, whether it's combat, minigames, whatever, they're all good. The writing and the narrative is always incredible the entire way through, like bar none. There's nothing weird or uncomfortable, unintentionally uncomfortable, I should say, I guess, in that game. Everything, all of this, the writing is incredibly good. It's either funny or serious or thought-provoking or, respectful, and they build the characters up really well, regardless of who it is. Even the most random side character has something interesting about them. On top of that, the third thing is that whenever you go through the side quests in Yakuza 0, there's always some really excellent reward. There's like you unlock something cool, or you get a nice item, or something of significant value is given to the player. And when I found out that I only did 24% total of that game, I want to go back. And in the meantime, with games like this, I feel more inclined to explore the side content or the stuff that's optional, just to either get more information about the story, to further develop characters, to get whatever resources and rewards they'll give you, unlock other parts of the game or whatever. And it's funny how a game like Yakuza 0, which I didn't even expect... my initial perspective of that game was that it would just be Grand Theft Auto Japan style, but it was so much better and so much more. I'm probably going to gush about that game for the next 6 or 12 months, so everybody get ready. Also, I recognize now the hunter kind of symbol at the top now. It is kind of reminiscent of that. Crafting. How much? 200. Do I make a pack of 9? Craft a bone spear. I wonder how I use this. Oh, here we go. 5-9 bone spear. Oh, here we go. Hold right trigger to aim spear. Oh. It's cool that they lower the opacity of your character a bit, so you can aim way easier. But you still don't lose track of where your character is. Can I get it back? No, I cannot. It's gone forever. Let me make a few more spears, assuming that I can. Cool, okay. Nice. It is late though. It is about 11:30 on a work night. Well, I have to get into work early tomorrow, so I'm not going to push it. We'll have plenty more time to play some more of this later on. Yeah, the aesthetic is great. When I first played Absolver, I expected a bigger, more spacious world like this. So actually getting it is really nice. Like, if Absolver added more content that was a big, spacious world like this, I'd totally go back